Greetings, I'm Ms. Kingsley, and this video is about learning to graph data. It's for 5th grade, Go Math, lesson 9.3, and we're going to go over the practice problems. So the idea is that you have done these before I do them, and if you haven't, you can always pause the video, find your own copy of this, or look at what's on the screen and do your best before you watch me do it, okay? So here we go. This is, again, lesson 9.3, and it tells us graph the data on the coordinate grid. So to refresh your memory, this over here is our coordinate grid. And it gives us a chart of data. It's saying it's a chart about outdoor temperature. So the first line is telling us the hour, the second line is telling us the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. And over here, if you recall from our prior lesson, this is the x-axis, and there's a little x right there, and I'm going to write x-axis. And this one going up, this is the y-axis, and it's recording the temperature. So if you note on this chart, this first row is the x-axis, and the second row is the y-axis. So let's see what it wants us to do. Write the ordered pairs for each point. So remember, before we learned ordered pairs are a set of two numbers. The first one is going to be your x information, and the second one is your y information. So our ordered pairs are given to us on this chart by looking at our x piece of data and our y piece of data. So it looks like this. 1, 61. 1 for the x, 61 for the y. That's our first coordinate pair. And we move across and just write them down. 3, 65. 5, 71. 7, 75. And 9, 77. So our next job, up here, we may need to catch this. Graph the data on the coordinate grid. So I do like to write out my coordinate pairs before I graph, but we do need to go over and now graph them. So it looks like the first two pieces of data, or the first two ordered pairs they did for us, 1, 61. So see, remember that we are going over and then up, and then 3 up to 65. So now we need to graph 3 of these points. So we're going to go over to 5, and we're going to go up until we get just past 70, call that 71. Now we're going to go over to 7, go up till we get just past 70. 75 would be halfway between 70 and 80, so we're going to put it there. And for the last one, we're going to go over to 9, and we're going to go up that line past 70, and we're short of 80, so we're going to call it right about there for 77. So we've graphed those ordered pairs, and now we're going to go on to the next question. How would the ordered pairs be different if the outdoor temperature were recorded every hour for 4 consecutive hours? Okay, so there's something we need to notice up here. First, these weren't recorded every hour, right? It was at 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, 9 hours. So if we were going to record every hour for just 4 consecutive hours, there would be 4 ordered pairs. And it's really that simple. There would be 4 ordered pairs. And you could give an example, but we don't know all the temperatures. We know some of them. It would look like this. Let's start with 1. We know that one, 61. Then we would have for hour 2, and some unknown temperature. Hour 3, and a temperature, and we know that one, 65. And hour 4, and an unknown temperature. So that's all they're looking for there, is to see if you are understanding what it means to record every hour. Okay, let's go on to problem number 2 on this page. All right. So now they're asking us to write the ordered pairs for each point. Now, we still need to do this part up here, which is graph the data on the coordinate grid. But on this one, we need to fill in much more information. So all they're showing us is the X and the Y. So we're going to call this our X and this our Y. And we're going to label our axes down here. This is day. And this is going to be total number repaired. And it's really important that you know what each axis is, what it is trying to describe in terms of the data. So write the ordered pairs for each point. We'll do that again before we graph. And again, we're just writing down our pairs, our X and our Y. So 1, 14, 2, 30, 3, 45, commas in between them, and 4, 63, and lastly 5, 79. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ordered pairs. Now we need to label our x-axis and our y-axis. And when we label them, we need to think about our intervals. That's how much does one space count as. And for day, we can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, for total number of windows repaired, if we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we wouldn't get to numbers like 14, 30, 45, and 63, and 79. So let's see what they did on the last one. So they helped us out here by they showed this. This is called our scale. And they gave us in intervals of 10. And notice each one is the same amount, 10. So it goes 10, 20, 30, 40. So in between any two lines is always 10. So it looks like we could use that one for this. We can't always use that one, but let's try it. So we would go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay? Now let's plot. We have over 1 up to where we would guess 14 would be, about there. Over 2 up to 30 exactly, so that's right on that intersection of those two lines. Number 3 up to 45, which is going to be halfway between 40 and 50, so about there. Number 4 is up to 63, so just past the 60, not quite 65. And number 5 is all the way up to 79, which is just short of 80. Okay. So we've now written the ordered pairs. We have graphed our data. We've on our coordinate grid, and we went ahead and labeled our coordinate grid. So now they're asking us, what does the ordered pair 230 tell you about the number of windows repaired? So 2 and 30 is up here in our chart, and it's also over here. You could read this either from reading our chart or from reading our coordinate grid. So all they're looking for is for you to know that you understand what that means. And what it means is it tells you that after 2 days, a total of 30 windows have been repaired. So after 2 days, because these are cumulative, right? It's adding each day, we're getting more windows repaired. So after 2 days, a total of 30 windows were repaired. Okay, and we're done with that one. Let's go on to the third part of this homework. We're just going to do the lesson check, not the spiral review for this video. So we're going to look at this, and it's now asking, can we interpret the data on this coordinate grid? About how many weeks did it take for the dog to consume 45 pounds of food? So let's see what we have here. We have amount of dog food consumed on our x-axis, it's telling us how many weeks have gone by. And on our y-axis, it's telling us the amount of dog food consumed in pounds. So that's going to really help us. So we're looking for how many weeks did it take the dog to consume 45 pounds? We have to find 45. So let's go to 40 and 50, go right in between and see where is our dot. It's right here. So let's go down from that and see how many weeks that was. 6 weeks. And it's as simple as that. That's our answer, 6 weeks. Number 2, by the end of week 8, how much food had the dog consumed? So to get that answer, we need to start with our number of weeks, go over to 8, and go up to see what is it telling us about how many pounds were consumed. And it looks like 60. So we would say 60 pounds, or you might write it as 60 pounds if you know the abbreviation. And we're done. So that's all for this lesson, and I'll see you next time.